Why does losing a job feel like losing yourself? At least it felt like that to me when I got retrenched. It felt like I lost a version of myself. And I told a few friends that I'm more hurt um, about losing the job at moments than I am being jobless. Jobless is, this is not my first rodeo. And yeah, it felt like the world beneath me had just opened and I had to fight for my life. I really had to fight for my life. My name is Crowley, Paul Crowley, and as you know, I'm here to ask questions. And yeah, have you lost a job before? How did it feel? How did you handle it? Because it was tough for me because I think this time, one, this was the best job I've ever had. Well, top two actually. Best job I've ever had was at Cash Crusaders. This is my first job ever, 2013. I was 17. Yeah, best job ever. This was second, but it hit more because as I was telling my friends that I had to grieve not the title, not the tasks, not the pay, but the people. I had to grieve a version of myself that I had built up. I had to grieve a future self I was waiting to meet. You know, I was writing a book, had to grieve that too, and I had to grieve customers that I was speaking to. You form relationships, and yeah, this the moment one of the best colleagues I've ever had, best like boss I've ever had, and so this was tough. We had to grieve the vision we had to change not only our lives but Africa, the world. Really believed in the technology, and so one really had to recalibrate who I am. Speaking of who I am, I don't know if I introduced myself. My name is Crowley, Paul Crowley, and as you know, I am here to ask questions. The reason I have this notebook here, like I've said, it's for me to keep a mental note of what I need to say because I'd like to give you as much value as possible or land the plane quickly as well because I can faff or get distracted and not really get to the point of what I'm trying to say. So this just helps me to organize my thoughts. And it's also I guess not my first time speaking on video, but to be honest, I'm very uncomfortable. It is fun, but it's something that I'm learning to do, and this I think this is kind of like my transitional object. Really, it's just helping me ground myself and my thoughts that I really say what I had meant to say as well, and again to give you the best possible value in this time that you spend with me here. And yeah, the lessons that I'd learned from retrenchment, they more so feel like reminders, actually, because this is not my first rodeo. It's not my first time being jobless. It's not my first time not having a paycheck. I think first time being retrenched. I've had so many jobs in between. I mean, I've been absconded before, uh, three times, if not twice. I think three times. Two of them called me back even after being absconded. because I really do my job and I love my job. I just have found myself very in uncomfortable positions where I'm unable to express myself, and I think once that happens, I just close in. But again, this time these lessons, they feel like reminders, and not just like financial reminders, things like to save and stuff like that, but reminders of self, reminders of resilience, reminders of adaptability, reminders to rebuild, because I have rebuilt before from nothing a couple of times. It's actually getting a tad bit tiring, but I also feel like the universe really conspires with me when I have an idea or a dream. It feels like there's always that hard pivot moment, and it feels like that right now. Is telling Samelo that I really feel like we called this upon ourselves because we had an idea to start a podcast on future of work, and obviously we want to continue building our agency, Couch Build, and the future of work was based on that, to find ways to document our journey of transitioning and finding autonomy. And it happened, us being retrenched in the same month happened a few weeks later after we had decided that we were going to do the podcast. And the retrenchment, again, it was tough because we had just moved here, and like I said in the previous video, we just got an eviction notice. Story for another day. I've already discussed that, but this has been a reminder also of dreams, the ideas that we've had. And we have a philosophy in Couch Build that your idea is your God, and it's just based on the fact that the same way you like worship your God, or you attend to it or listen to it or let God guide you, I feel like ideas are those lights in the tunnel while you're trying to find your path that are saying go this way, or signals. Ideas are like signals from God. And I'm reading this book now called Conversations with God. I'm only 10 pages in. Also didn't want to go, I mean, I've been reading it for over a week now, but just those 10 pages, mainly because I just didn't want to find myself trying to learn something again and not be in the action. I always feel like I'm always unqualified, and I need to qualify myself before I try something. But that has landed in stagnation again. It lands in indecisiveness. It lands in self-ejecting even before one pursues the ideas. And so, hi Skevenga. Hi, meet Skevenga. How you doing, boy? How you doing, boy? You good? And yeah, in these first 10 pages, even in the Conversations with God, it speaks about how God communicates via thoughts as well. And it really cemented our philosophy and hypotheses that, your idea is your God. And is to say that when you're seeking answers, the ideas that you have are the answers. When you have the questions, it's to not doubt that. And that's why even Imagine Crowley exists, is to say, listen to your imagination, listen to God, listen to your ideas, create the world that you see or believe to be. Show up not as is, but show up as who you want to be in this world. And so right now, the lessons from the trenches has really been, or the reminder has really been, about our dreams. And really going back to that. And sometimes it does feel a little like a prodigal moment, because we abandon our dreams because of paychecks and other opportunities, which are great. Again, we're not in control of the blocks that fall, but we control how they land. And I feel like for some time now, I've abandoned a few blocks, and I've said, not these ones, not yet. Imagine Crowley, not yet. Coffee Crowley, not yet. A couch build, not yet. And this, again, feeling like the universe is conspiring with me. It forced, this is like a force pivot moment, and a reminder as well, of self-value. I had to relearn again of what I'm made of, what's my value, what are my dreams, and that the title may be gone, but not the creativity, not the resilience, not the curiosity, not the courage. And so, if you're also in the trenches or afraid of being in the trenches, just like to say to you that it's not the end. It's literally like hitting a wall on a maze, and it's time for you to pivot and, yeah, navigate the maze differently, and listen to what God is saying about the situation. Listen to where your curiosity is navigating you to, because there lies the answers. The questions that you are asking is the answers themselves. And so, yeah, I'd just like to find out from you, if you've lost a job before, an opportunity, how did you handle it? How did you pivot? What lessons did you learn that you might share with me and other viewers as well in the comments? I'd really appreciate that. Yeah.